is Paul. Yes. These crimes under what law? Oh, United States Code, the Code of Military Justice, the District of Columbia Code, and/or U.S. territorial codes. Section 3771 is more modest. It applies to victims harmed as a result of the commission of a federal offense or an offense in the District of Columbia. Pooch! It clearly does not apply to the victims of state crimes unless the underlying misconduct also violates federal or D.C. law. Ouch! The specific inclusion of only the District of Columbia in Section 3771 in light of the specific inclusion of the territories of some of the past proposals to amend the Constitution might be seen as evidence that Congress did not intend 3771 victims of crimes committed in violation of the various territorial codes. Looks like they included District of Columbia for some very specific reasons. Yes. Now, I know you're an employee in the District of Columbia and you happen to be a resident of the District of Columbia and you work in the federal fucking government. Every one of you are getting sued, and pooch, as the victim, I'm sure you're... Oh, well, see, there's what's known as notice. The right, yes, to reasonable, accurate, and timely notice of any public court proceeding or any parole proceeding involving the crime or any release of the escaped or the escape of the accused. Yes, 18 U.S. Code 3771A2. Now, this was really, really very enlightening because reasonable, accurate, and timely notice of any public court proceeding. Yes. You know, they go into exactly what this notice says. The notice clause has several distinctive, yes, features. The notice rights apply only with respect to public court proceedings and parole proceedings. The rights attached to those proceedings involving the crime, but not necessarily to those related to the crime. Oh. Victims are entitled to reasonable, accurate, and timely notice, and victims are entitled to notice of the release or escape only of the accused. Yes, now I put this draft here because the Victims' Bill of Rights has reasonable, accurate, and timely notice. Pooch. It seemed to me that every time I told you what, oh, look at this, verified with a little triangle on it. Reasonable, accurate, and timely notice. Ooch. The inclusion of timeliness requirement of the notice right seems significant because it would appear to greatly reduce the prospect of reasonable but ineffective notice. Yet the committee report issued after its addition in the constitutional amendment proposes no note of it. Yes. Now, if you look at it, pooch, I put emergency right there. The right to notice of hearings at which an individual has a right to be heard is a component of due process under existing law. The Supreme Court has long made clear, yes, that due process requires notice reasonably calculated to provide actual notice of the proceedings and a meaningful opportunity to be heard. Good morning, Poe. In City of West Covina versus Perkins, yes, by the due process clause is to ensure the opportunity for a hearing is meaningful. Poach. In Molans versus Central Hanover Bank, yes. The right to be heard has little reality or worth unless one is informed that the matter, yes, affecting one's property rights, yes, is pending and can choose for him or herself whether to appear or default, acquiesce, or contest. I put an emergency stamp right there. Now, this meaningful, for hearing is meaningful. Now, it seemed to me, yes, this whole concept of reasonable, accurate, and timely notice. Oh! Now, I had informed law enforcement, yes, that I was not given reasonable, timely, and accurate notice of court hearings. Yes. Multiple times over the last 7 years and 3 months. Pooch. I did not get reasonable, timely, and accurate notice of court hearings in 2011. I was given no meaningful opportunity to be heard. Pooch. Now, you would think that the definition in the Victims' Bill of Rights, yes, would apply, yes, to respondents. Yes, it would. And considering the case law in this, I think that I can sue you. It's a fucking multi-billion fucking dollar day today, I'll tell you that.